Good morning and welcome to this weekend's Brunch Club, where we toast to all the amazing, diversely faceted women out there, filling your cup with inspiration and encouragement as our guests share their personal stories, experiences with careers, family, parenting, equality, mentoring, and advice. The Brunch Club is where we raise a glass and champion female talent and leadership everywhere, and where sparkling is always encouraged. Hosted by Rachel Swoboda and brought to you from the beautiful showroom of Bixby and Ball, located in Newport Beach's Lido Marina Village. Now, here is your host, Rachel Swoboda.
Hi, good morning and welcome to the Brunch Club. I'm here today with Lucy, and Lucy is an amazing woman who has authored this book. She has started a chain of restaurants. She has done so many things. I don't want to give it all away. And you know what? I have to tell you guys, like there was no prep on this, so I'm going to prep you. Sure. I'm going to prep you right now. So the way that this flows is, it's very casual, and we can talk about anything you want.
Okay.
So, but we're going to talk about things that people are interested to know about you, because you have been a strong female woman leader in the community for a long time in Orange County and globally too. So I met your son at the restaurant a few weeks ago because we're going to be featuring the restaurant in Newport Beach Lifestyle magazine. And one of our good friends, Rad Gantos and Associates, had done some help with the interior. And so there's going to be a whole article in the magazine about the restaurant.
But I know that. Great.
Yeah, well, see, we're prepping. But that's just one really small part of your story. So for everyone who's getting to know you that watches the show, just sort of tell them a little bit about your story and bring it to life.
How it all began?
Sure.
Well, I guess our first restaurant was What's Cooking Bistro.
Okay.
And that was in Newport Hills Center. And I have to say, I think I was the first, basically in the United States, that had fresh pasta in 1975, before the pasta craze, where my mother and I would make 10 different kinds of pasta, and we had a different sauce every week, which was unheard of in those days.
Wow. And
people would come, what's the green stuff? And that was before pesto became popular, et cetera, et cetera. And we were in a poor location, and it was hard to sell pasta. And then
I love homemade pasta, by the way. Yeah. I mean, it's so good.
But they just had this stereotype of pasta and caloric. And speaking of 1975 and 76 when we opened, and then in the mid-80s, I think about 80, 85, the pasta craze came. We couldn't get people to eat our pasta, and then the Pritikin diet came out, and we had lines out the door. And that's
Wait, what diet?
Pritikin, when you're supposed to have carbs.
Oh my God, I wish.
Yeah.
I'm on this like no carb diet of meat and vegetables.
The next thing, we had lines out the door, this little dinky place, and then we needed a place on the other side of the bridge, and we opened our second, and then my sisters who were in Dana Point convinced me that there was this place, and I said, I can't open anymore. And 3 kids and whatever.
Wait, how many sisters? You have 2?
2 sisters.
And what number are you in the
I'm
lineup?
the baby.
You are?
I'm the baby.
Okay, so I'm the oldest of 3 sisters.
Oh, when we meet, I always tell them I'm the oldest, and they go, oh. And then sometimes they say, I thought so. And I go, But anyway, they're great.
Are they still local?
Yeah. Okay. Well, my sister Mary's in Carlsbad, and my sister Rose is where I'm staying with her right now in Newport. So I have a very supportive family. But anyway, they all worked with me and helped me get started. And my husband was very supportive. He's a physician, and he'd come at 9 o'clock at night and help clean up, and so it was. Here he was,
really
a surgeon.
Nice.
He'd have his What's Cooking shirt, and they would say, "I think you look familiar." And every now and then there'd be a scream, "He's my doctor!" But anyway, so it started out that way, and I had no intention of being a restaurateur, but we were new in the area, came from the East Coast. And we certainly met a lot of wonderful friends. In fact, they're very supportive.
That's amazing. You said I never had any. That wasn't the plan. And you meet people all the time, and they want to open a restaurant. They want to do it. And what's the percentage of restaurants that don't make it?
In those days, it wasn't really a good thing. In the 80s, it became, movie stars, everybody's going into the restaurant business. But I remember my mother-in-law coming in, she's saying, oh, Lucia, open a boutique. Plastic surgeon's wife doesn't open a restaurant. They'd come to see me sometimes. People would say, I think his wife is here. And I'd have chocolate mousse here. And I'd go back into the kitchen, take my apron off, and introduce myself. But anyway, it was fun because the bistro was like my club every night. My father used to say, you have to enjoy your work, and then it's not work. And I honestly say I used to rush to go there. Couldn't, I had carpool with the kids, and then I'd rush back, anxious to see who was there. So it was my club every night.
Yeah.
And I got Donna, a great girl who played the accordion.
Oh, is she still there?
I started her. She was just.
But is the same one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
she does. Yeah.
I heard her play the other night when I was there having dinner.
Yeah.
And I got these. I had a photographer with me because we were doing photos for the magazine, and we had the most beautiful pictures of her. I will send them to you because I think she'll want them. They're really good, and the music was amazing, the food was amazing, and it was packed. Yeah, and I asked your son, I was like, well, what kind of advertising do you do to get the traffic in here? I mean, and everyone was like knew each other, and he was like, we don't do anything. This is all just word of mouth. This is relationships. This is people who want to be together for dinner.
It's been great. I have to make a little comment when I go there now, and I said, George, it's packed.
Yeah.
But I don't see so many of my friends. And he says, Mom, when you're 80, you have reflux. You go to bed early. And I don't feel like I'm 78, almost 80, and my husband's going on 90.
Well, you don't look at it.
So our age group doesn't go out, as they used to be.
George's friends are there. Yeah. Definitely.
So he said, you start at 35 and 40. I have my age group now, but it was kind of funny. I just didn't think of it. I go, I don't like.
Well, you could go to dinner at like 4. Yeah, they'll all be there.
But it was so funny when he says, you guys have reflux, can't eat onions, can't eat peppers, eat at 5. And I thought, he's right in a way. But anyway, he packs the house every night. We're very proud of it.
The food was amazing.
We're very proud of it. It's like 35 years there, so it's been doing very well.
And Chef came out and talked with us and was super friendly.
Yeah, he's great. We have a great group, great staff, and so we're very proud.
Yeah. So, okay, I didn't mean to break your rhythm, but
it's fine.
Quick sidebar. And that's kind of what happens on the show. You just sort of go where it leads you.
And then I went to a food convention and wine convention in Italy, of course, without my husband, and came back with, I had bought an old farmhouse. I just put a little bit money down because the guy said somebody else wanted it, and I thought it was going to be our home base in Italy if the kids would, home base in Europe. And the next thing, people followed me. What is she doing in Italy? And it turned into a bed and breakfast. And they asked for a cooking week. And no, I'm not going to do that here because I told George I was going to get out of the service business. Is basically what you did. It just moved it from one country to the other. So we did a few cooking classes, and then we're making our olive oil. Then we have olive oil classes. So I'm back in the service business. And so not advertising again, but it's my Orange County friends. We probably have 95% of it is Orange County, a word of mouth. And it turned into bed and breakfast and a cooking school, and we're doing weddings and one thing. And then I'm based now in Italy, and I love it.
And you're there a lot, right?
Yeah, I live there. I'm just here for 1 or 2 months in the fall, and then our grandkids come for the summer. Hoping
they were so cute, by the way. They were there having dinner, and they run around the restaurant like it's their living room. They're very comfortable there, and they were friendly. They were greeting people. Yeah. I mean, you're really like teaching the next generation and your family, Well, if they are interested to be in this.
So we're Italians. How the book came about, it was just, I'll tell the story.
Yes,
it was
talk about the book, please. Yeah, so.
Italy, first of all, I'll say I've never gone to cooking school. It was just, all my cooking is basically from as Italians, where it was home cooking.
Yeah.
And from my mom, and carried on in generations in our family. And I'm very proud to be an American. And I write in the book, America gave me everything. My father, since I was born, you have to be proud to be an American and learn the language. And then he'd whisper, eat Italian. And I didn't understand it. But anyway, Italy does have a food culture, which I'm very proud of. And as I wrote in the book, I'm very proud to be an American. It gave me everything, but it was my parents who gave me Italian food culture. And there's a big difference. And I was wondering, where does this food culture begin? I mean, I'd go out with my friends in Italy, and they go, oh, you don't make carbonara with bacon. You got to get the cheeks of the pig, and you don't eat that cheese. The goat ate arugula, whatever. I mean, they know so much about food, but they're really concerned about the quality of food. And so I was wondering, where does this food culture begin? So I was cutting my hair, and one day the girl who I thought just had a baby, she said, I'm running to the nursery school to get the school menu. And I said, how old is your daughter? And she said, it was 1.5 years, 2 years old. I said, a school menu? She said, yeah. She said, I do not want to repeat for dinner what she had for lunch. And I go, this is a 2-year-old. What are you talking about?
They don't care.
Yeah.
They eat,
So I went to the school, and I discovered where food culture begins. Here,
Oh, wait. I'm going to have to pause you for a second because
Yeah.
I love where you're going to go with that. But we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back. We're going to hear the rest of the story. So just
Okay.
pause on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bedding, lighting, furniture, decor. We do it all, even the kitchen sink. Bixby and Ball offers customers a thoughtful collection of home decor and meaningful gifts for any special occasion. Bring the coastal lifestyle home with the help of our styling and design team. Let's create a timeless piece together. Visit us at one of our charming stores, conveniently located in Newport Beach, Lido Marina Village, and Solana Beach, Cedros Design District. Or shop online at bixbyandball.com.
Okay, didn't mean to leave everyone at the edge of their seats. Okay, please continue with the story. Okay, so where did food culture begin?
Yeah, because these adults, they're very concerned. And so where we tend to eat in America, and forgive me, I mean, I love everything about America. As I said, the food is more desirable in Europe. Anyway, and so I went to the school, and this is a nursery school in a farm community, low income, 6 kids sitting at a table, a chef cooking, a nutritionist does the menu, and the teacher supervises. Children sit, they don't put the food in the garbage, they're controlled. They can have seconds if they wish, and it's like a pasta or soup or polenta is the first dish, rice, and then comes a little meat or fish with the vegetable, seasonal vegetable, and then a fruit. And I'm going, I hate to say this, I came here and I was invited to it was a Friends Day at the school.
Okay.
And I was very excited. I'm sorry if I'm being critical here, but about food, and a fast food truck came. And I thought, wow, a very,
different approach.
Yeah. And here I said 2-year-olds, so that's how I discovered where food culture came from, how it's developed. And then in my studies, I realized that America and Italy are at the 2 extremes in the food culture program. And we don't really have much food culture, and Italy does have a lot. And I'm sorry to say they're starting to lose it. Globalization is making many changes. So I'm speaking of as it was in Italy until recently. They're starting to change, but they still are very concerned what goes into their mouth. So from this I was writing a book about my family because I thought my great-grandkids will never understand that we would sit at a table for an hour and a half, because we do. Italians sit at the table. And this is the opposite in America. In fact, McDonald's started their logo, eat and run. And Italy says, no, stay, we eat and stay.
Yes.
Which led to this book and led me into reading the difference in the food culture, which we don't really have much in America. It's not a priority as it is in Italy. You dream about it. The ritual of the day is you sit at this table. And then I found out 90% of the Italians have 1 meal a day at the table. We have 30% in America eat in cars, and the Italians don't understand that. Or walking down the street eating. That's not customary. They have their ice cream cone. They'll eat after dinner, but they don't. They want to sit and eat. My father used to say, knees under the table. So, and that was how I was raised.
There is a product that I recently learned about. Krisha, you introduced it to me. It's this meal replacement shake.
Well,
I know, right? It was like Soylent. It's like where it's like hey Americans, you don't even need to sit and to eat anymore. Just grab this and drink it on the go. It's like it's a whole other world. And I grew up in an environment with a very close family and sitting at the dinner table.
Tables disappearing.
We're not Italian, but we're Czech. Okay. And so there's I don't know how, if maybe it's just my parents, but that was something that was not missed, and where the food came from, and the portions and the type that you're talking about. Like going out to fast food was not something that we did. No. It just wasn't. But it's very common, and I think that we definitely were the minority.
Well, what I write about in 1920, our food started changing. So by 2020, we're leaving the table, which is very unfortunate. And so when I was studying about the table, societies that eat at the table, they had less problems with children. Like the Italians say 80% of their parenting is at the table. So I've heard like our kids, they'd be the devil's advocate. They say, well, we could play tennis with our kids. And I said, no, it's sitting at the table, eye to eye, discussing, seeing what's going on in their school. Maybe they're being bullied, maybe whatever. And so I look at the table as being very important. And my friends will say, hey, we're going to convivio. I go, what's convivio? Convivio, in my translation at time, would be living together. But they use it in a term, gathering at the table, time at the table. Okay. And then I remember reading Dante wrote in his Il Convivio, his book, The Banquet, that the table, it's not so the food is important, but just as important as the food is being with this conviviality, being with people at the table, family, friends, talking, learning. According to Dante, you would learn. Wisdom was learned at the table. Knowledge was received. And here we're running away from this. And I think it's sad, even people catering to the health clubs, it's very important, but then they'll come out and eat bars. Well, Italians, we don't eat bars, but it's going to start coming, which is great. It's nutritious, whatever it is, but you're missing the contact with people. So all this started, and the next thing you know, my family book went a little bit more into the Mediterranean diet, which we were raised on. And then when you have a country like Italy, where it has longevity more than any other country in Europe, so they must be doing something right. And then it came to this, where I started looking into the difference in our food habits and how important, and I wish I could advocate, even though Italy is changing, that we could go back to the table, which is very important, because the statistics prove there are many benefits if a family could get back to the table. I remember Reagan said, how did he put it, that it's very important that change starts at the table, and it's very important.
I love that.
Yeah. So one thing led to another, and then from there I started reading into the Italians and interviewing them, and what they think of Americans. They say we rush through work to get to lunch, and you rush through lunch to go to work. And they say, you know how to make a living, we know how to make a life. So I'm sounding prejudiced. I mean, because I am Italian, I love the Italian way of life, and I love everything about America. But regarding food, I'm obviously, and in the book, I feel badly if I'm a little bit critical about the American diet and all. But
it's good to discuss, and it's good to look critically at these differences and what it means and where it's all going. So now, if people want to go over to Italy, for instance, and come stay or visit, like how do they find you there?
Well, it's interesting. I have my webpage is Lucia Tuscan Villa. My name in Italian is Lucia Tuscan Villa.
Hence the name of the restaurant. Lucia's.
Yeah, and of course Luciana's knows us. The restaurant, and our email. I have my email there, and people write to me, and they can book.
So when I post this and send it out, I'll make sure to put all of that contact information for anybody who's interested in taking a visit or getting the book or coming to the restaurant and getting a little.
It's funny, the B&B has on its own turned almost into a rental, because most of our guests, they see all the sights and then they want to enjoy Tuscany, and they don't get a chance to just sit under an olive tree and eat a mortadella sandwich or something. And so they're all coming back now for weekly rentals, which has been really great.
Wow.
And they all talk about this table, and I really don't do anything with them, but we sit at this table and talk all night. They want to go back and do this with their families. And so I have like 100, I swear more than 100 letters. We want your lifestyle at the table, but we can't do that in this society. In Italy, when everything closes at 1 to 3:30, you can do it, but it will never come here. And people say, well, we're going back to the table, but I don't think we'll ever reach the level which the table serves in Italy, because even I was in Montecatini, the spa town, on a Saturday night, on a busy summer night, and I was shocked. Their stores are closing at 8, and I said, with all these people, she says, oh no, it's dinner time. We'll reopen at 9:30. And I go, what? She said, well, we like to eat together. They say in Italy, we almost ask, who are you going to eat with before you ask, what are you going to eat?
Yeah.
They want to be together and eat together.
I love that.
So there's a lot of, so this is how the book began, which is more or less a little personal testimony of my life as an Italian-American, first-generation Italian-American, and comparing the food cultures of the two countries, which I really do love, Italy and America. And that's what it's about.
So this is one book, and I know that we had talked the other day that you have another one coming too, right?
Yeah, I have.
Or not yet.
So many. I'm more of.
We don't have to talk about it.
No.
I did it as a teaser.
Well, everybody has been there. These are Orange County people and the predicaments they get in Tuscany, and it's hilarious.
Oh my God,
and they all
that's
say,
funny.
write your book. So this turns out to be not maybe what they wanted. It started as a family book, and then I went into a little bit of the Mediterranean diet, because they're all asking me. I'm jumping here, but they're all asking me, what is it that you have longevity? My mother just died 105, my mother-in-law 106, her family's one of 14. They don't go to the gym, they don't go on diets, and Anyway, so I mentioned there that the Mediterranean diet is not just fresh fruits and vegetables, but it's a way of life. And the United States, their dietary guidelines, the pyramid, they're starting to add quality of life. I mean, is very important too.
Oh.
So, and one of the items is so they're asking me, what is the difference? And I said, in our family, my mother didn't know what the Mediterranean diet was, but it's amazing. I dedicate it to her because things that she taught me, I thought ridiculous. You know, she had to grind her own meat. You don't know what they put in there. And then I found out they put slime. So whatever.
Ew.
Yeah. And so she wouldn't let us have cereal. I said, Mom, what is wrong with cereal? She has no education in it. And she said, well, it's sitting on the shelf. That's the old-fashioned Italian. Then I marry a husband, you know, very educated, and no cereal in the house. I said, why? Well, he's got salt and sugar to preserve it. And I go, wow, you're speaking like my mother. So I'm dedicating to my mother because things that she taught me with very little formal education, food science is discovering. And
she was right.
Yeah. So this is how I dedicated it to her. And it was published a month after she died. But other than that, it's okay.
Oh.
And I mentioned in the book the factors that are in our family way of life, which I really advocate. And I know many will be opposed to this. Oh, we can't do that. But my conclusion in the book, it's not like our children would say, you don't understand, we don't have time, because food, the marketing is telling you this, convenience, convenience, convenience. But it's not that they don't have time, it's not a priority. And like no offense, if I left my husband a pizza in the oven and say, hey, there's a pizza for dinner, I don't think I'd still be married 55 years with him. But anyway, because he came from my food culture.
Yes.
I mean, and so he had the same food culture. So I say I recommend 4 things as part of our Mediterranean diet, the way I was raised, that children should have real food before the age of 5. It's very important because when you do, and this is what I noticed in my Italian adult friends, that they were raised with this, that they would be less apt and less susceptible to fast foods and what I call industrial food. So it's hard to do, but children should have real food. And second, we should get the kids back in the kitchen. Well, we don't have time. Well, it would be great if they had, and I try to do this with our kids. And 3, we should really be concerned about labeling because we have no idea. I use an example of eating horse meat. There's absolutely nothing wrong with horse meat. A lot of Italians do it, but it went through 10 different countries. And it was a horse that was sick, that toxic. They were given antibiotics that were toxic to humans. And it was only through 10 different countries that people were getting sick that they realized where it came from. Well, Italians want to know where it came from, and we're not concerned about that. So but we should be more concerned about labels. Labeling and know what we're eating. And the 4th, which I mentioned, our kind of a Mediterranean diet was being at the table. And those 4 things could improve an individual's health, I'm sure, the family and the nation. So I didn't mean to get into
but I like going into that the pyramid and adding a new layer of the quality of life. So we're gonna run out of time.
Okay.
But I mean, I could talk to you for hours about all of this, and I'm definitely gonna have to read the book, and I'm gonna make sure that everybody out there who wants to know more can get in contact with you.
Sure.
Can come visit Italy, can read the book, and bring a little bit more of their life
and we
back
make
to the table.
a great extra virgin olive oil, which is another thing. When I started bringing it here, 95% of the markets was all refined oils, and they're now presenting better oils, but it's very important. And we have it morning and afternoon on our table.
There you go. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
I loved
thank you. Bye.
Bye now.
Thanks for stopping by the Brunch Club. It's been our pleasure to share this time with you. We look forward to bringing you more sparkling inspiration next weekend. If you have feedback, topics, or want to nominate someone to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us at rachel@sundaybrunchagency.com. Cheers!
This video was brought to you by 800 Cameraman, Southern California's only 20-time National Emmy Award-winning production company.